Hello everyone, welcome back to Sunrise Farms. I'm Jim, thanks for stopping by. In today's video we're going to start a little series of videos over a course of time on Hügelkultur. Now for those who might not be familiar, a brief description is that's a German word and it just really means a mounded type garden using, in this case it's going to be using logs and tree limb debris and leaf mulch. You can see my tractors right here. I'll show you in just a few minutes what I'm doing to line it up. And so this process will take some time. It'll even to see how it's going to turn out, because clearly as the logs and leaves and debris decay in the earth, then it'll create a good culture of bacteria and soil, basically a natural style compost, but it'll also drop the level of the beds, and we'll just see how bad that goes. But let me go ahead and flip you around and just show you what I'm going to be doing here, and yeah, we'll go from there. Stay tuned. All right, so here is my Mahindra 1626 farm tractor. I have put my backhoe attachment on it that I got originally when I got the package deal. Let me show you what I've got here. So I basically put these two white stakes up to mark off the corners of the plot. I came over 8 feet, because I'm doing pumpkins, so I needed room to spread. I came over 8 feet and I just drove a rebar stake and I put down, so I did 8 feet from both ones. There's a rebar stake down there. And then I put a string line down. I pushed the string line to the ground. And then I used a marking paint. Now, if you're going to do this, obviously Hügelkultur takes some work. It takes some time. It takes some effort, and it's a process over time as well. But if you're going to do it, I highly recommend marking out your lines and not get spray paint, not just general spray paint, but I've been in construction all my life. So make sure you get what is called marking paint. It lasts longer. It's actually a can that is made to spray upside down to do just that. So all I did was spray over top of the string line that I ran, so I can center my tractor on it and then have something to go by. And as you can see here, I just pulled the one rebar stake and I'm just taking it off to the side. And this is that's the string line that was attached, so there was a string line there. And so yeah, so let me just show you, I don't know how many videos will be in this series as we go forth. Several, I'm assuming. So I'm going to go ahead and get started here today digging this. So let me go ahead and show you what I do to get started. And in this plot I will have 4 8-foot separated mounds. I do have the logs and the material to go in it. I've had them for before I even thought about gardening. I was going to do some wood milling, but they've become rot, and I needed something to do with them anyway, so this seems like a perfect thing to do with them. So I'm gonna have 4 mounds as quickly as I can put them in and backfill them with my tractor. Now granted, not everybody watching this video is gonna have a farm tractor and can consider doing this idea. I get that, obviously. But even if you wanted to try one of a shorter distance and just do it with small limbs and branches you might have cut down around your yard, you can start anywhere you want with this process. It's just that you're going to dig a trench as deep as you think you need to put the material in that you have. In my case, I'm going to go ahead and dig it 2 feet deep or thereabouts. And my logs are, give or take, around 12-14 inches around. So I'm going to drop them in the hole. And then I'm going to backfill them with some leaf mulch and dirt. And then create the mound from the leftover good dirt. The dirt I get off the top, which has all the grass in it. So let's say the first 6 so inches of dirt, I will set to one side of the ditch. And then on the other side, I will put the good dirt that I want to put back in the hole, or to make the mound out of, I should say. So yeah, let's get started. So as you can see, there's the ditch. Now let me just do a sidewalk view for it. And I don't think I finished my thought on the time. So the whole video took me 41 minutes to film, but given all the caveats and moving the camera around just to video it in the first place, I would say that I safely dug this ditch in 30 minutes with my tractor. So and so, I know I mentioned it before I started, but on this side of the ditch, I put the top about 6 to 8 inch layer that has all the grass and whatnot stuff in it. And then over here, on this side of the ditch, I put all basically good dirt. Now, I don't know if you can really tell it good in the camera view, but I've mentioned before that I found some silliness in my soil where some of it is kind of a clay type of dirt, which is that right there. And then some of it ends up being pretty good dirt. I don't really know what the distinct difference is in my property when I bought it, what they might have done to it in years gone by, but at any rate, so the point's going to be that in part 2 of this video series, it probably is going to be a series, but in part 2, I'm going to get the logs, put the logs in, use that first layer there, and just push it into the ditch, and that'll be my compaction point over the logs, and then this side of the dirt will be the kind of the mound, and we'll go from there. So anyway, we'll see you in part 2 for the log placement video and how this all unwinds. I mean, this is going to take a long course of time just to see how it truly does. But some of the interesting things about Hügelkultur. It is supposedly one of the better ways to kind of get rotted material, if you will, into your soil system. And that way you're getting basically a natural style decomposition of materials, so a compost. And it also is supposed to have the added benefit, at least particularly the way I'm doing it, because there's several ways you can do it. Clearly you may not have a tractor. Even if you have a big garden area, you know, it's a lot of work by hand. But you can use little branches. You could just use leaf mulch if you can get a hold of it. You certainly could do this in raised beds. You could put this down in raised beds, and I'm actually going to do that. I didn't make it that far for my 2 planting seasons this spring and fall, but through the late fall or winter, if you will, for where we live, I plan on putting together anywhere from 12 to 20 raised beds. And this is exactly probably what I'll do in those raised beds, because my raised beds, I'm going to make a minimum of about 18 inches on up to 3 foot high, depending on what I kind of think I want to put in them. I'm not into bending over too much if I can avoid it, so I'm going to build them a little high. And I'll put, you know, limbs and branches and leaf mulch in it, and grass clippings, and some trees if I still have some left over after this main project, which I probably will, because I got a bunch of stuff around here. But there's ways that you can do it if you're interested. And so one of the other benefits of putting a log or big pieces of wood in the ground is that they absorb, excuse me. One of the benefits of putting logs and big limbs in the ground is that they absorb moisture. I've actually seen a couple of videos. I don't know if you've happened to see the same thing. And I don't know if it works the way they say it does yet, so I'm going to find out. But I've seen a couple of videos where people put things into a Hügelkultur mound like this and don't ever water them, because there's that much moisture that retains in the logs. And then occasionally, you know, in most places you get rain, so occasionally when it rains, it just keeps going. Well, that's an interesting test, and I'm actually going to put that to the test. Not on this particular one I'm doing, but a little further out towards that area out there. I'm actually going to build one mound out in the middle of the grass, not part of my plots, but I'm going to build one mound out in the middle of the grass, and I'm going to plant something on it. I'm going to start by planting something that I know doesn't need tons of water, that's kind of drought hardy. But nonetheless, I'm going to put it in there, and I'm not going to water it. I'm not going to touch it at all, and we're going to see what happens through the course of that experiment. So yeah. So hopefully you liked this video and it gave you some information to start with. Come on back for part 2. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, hit the notification bell, and I'd be most appreciative. Each one of you are quite a blessing to me, and I thank you so much for even taking a few minutes of your time, your precious time, to watch this video. And we'll see you back here in part 2 in a little bit. Take care and God bless.